Imagine this scene. You're surrounded by people, voices overlap, laughter fills the air. On the surface, everything looks normal, but inside something feels off. Your body is there, yet your mind feels distant, almost disconnected from reality. When the gathering ends, instead of relief, there's exhaustion, not physical, emotional. And a quiet question echoes in your head. Why do I feel so alone, even when I'm not? What if this discomfort isn't social anxiety, shyness, or emotional weakness? What if it's something far more unsettling and far more rare? What if the very traits that make you feel disconnected are the same traits that allow you to see the world with a depth most people never reach? This video begins with a disturbing provocation. What if your struggle to connect isn't a flaw to be fixed, but evidence that your nervous system, your mind, and your emotional architecture operate on a completely different frequency? A frequency that modern society doesn't know how to handle. For decades, psychology labeled people like this as withdrawn, overly sensitive, or socially maladjusted. But newer research, including the work of Dr. Elaine Aron, suggests something radically different. Some individuals are neurologically wired to process reality more deeply. Their nervous systems react more intensely to stimuli. Their minds absorb details, emotions, and subtleties others barely notice. What feels neutral to most becomes overwhelming to them. Noise drains them. Superficial conversations feel empty. Emotional atmospheres are felt almost physically. This isn't just sensitivity of the senses, it's sensitivity of thought, morality, perception, and empathy. And because the world is loud, fast, performative, and relentlessly superficial, these individuals don't withdraw because they don't want connection. They withdraw because connection, as it's usually offered, feels unsafe, exhausting, and hollow. This video is not about diagnosing you, it's about revealing a hidden pattern, a silent minority of people who feel displaced not because they are broken, but because they are built differently. And in the next parts, we'll explore the rare psychological traits that create this sense of disconnection. Traits that society misunderstands, suppresses, and often punishes. If you've ever felt like you don't belong anywhere, even among people who love you, this isn't coincidence. This is the beginning of an explanation most people never hear. Before we go deeper, pause for a second. If this already resonates with you, like this video, subscribe to the channel and stay until the end. What comes next may explain more about you than you expect. From the outside, it looks like distance. From the inside, it feels like survival. Many people who feel disconnected from the world aren't avoiding others because they lack interest, empathy, or affection. They are retreating because their nervous systems are already operating at full capacity. Long before a conversation begins, their bodies are already processing tone, intention, emotional tension, contradictions, and unspoken signals. Social interaction for them is never neutral. It is intense from the first second. Research on high neurological sensitivity shows that some individuals have a more reactive nervous system. This means stimuli are not filtered efficiently. Sounds arrive louder, emotions arrive heavier, social environments arrive like a wave instead of a ripple. What others experience as normal interaction becomes, for these individuals, a complex emotional event that demands energy, attention, and constant internal regulation. This is where social fatigue is born. Not the kind that sleep fixes, but the kind that settles in the chest and mind. After conversations, these individuals replay everything. Not out of insecurity, but because their brains naturally continue processing. Facial expressions, pauses, shifts in tone, everything is reanalyzed automatically. The interaction may be over, but the nervous system hasn't disengaged yet. Over time, the body learns. It associates social exposure with overload. Not danger, but depletion. And so withdrawal becomes a form of self-protection. Silence becomes medicine. Solitude becomes a way to reset a system that has been overstimulated for too long. The tragedy is that this withdrawal is often misunderstood. Others interpret it as coldness, arrogance, or lack of interest. But internally, the desire for connection is still there. It simply collides with a body that cannot tolerate constant emotional noise. This creates an internal contradiction, wanting closeness but needing distance, wanting connection but requiring isolation to remain functional. And when this pattern repeats for years, the person begins to believe something is wrong with them, when in reality they are responding exactly as their nervous system demands. This trait doesn't mean weakness, it means depth without filters. But depth in a world designed for speed always comes with a cost. And this cost accumulates quietly, shaping identity, relationships, and self-image. But emotional overload is only the surface. Beneath it lies a deeper mechanism that amplifies everything. The way these individuals process reality itself, a cognitive trait that turns every experience into a labyrinth of meaning. And this is where disconnection truly begins to crystallize. For most people, experiences pass through the mind and dissolve. A conversation ends, the thought fades, life moves on. But for those who feel chronically disconnected, nothing truly passes. Everything stays, everything echoes. This is the rare trait known as depth of processing, and it quietly shapes how these individuals experience reality. Depth of processing means the mind does not skim the surface of life. It dives, automatically, relentlessly. Every interaction, every word spoken, every silence is dissected and connected to memory, meaning, intention, and consequence. The brain doesn't just register events, it interrogates them. Why did that person hesitate? What did that look mean? What changed in the atmosphere? What was left unsaid? This is not overthinking by choice. It is a neurological pattern. Studies on high sensitivity show that these brains activate more areas related to awareness, integration, and meaning-making. In practice, this turns daily life into a constant internal investigation. A simple exchange can trigger a chain reaction of reflection that lasts hours or days. At first glance, this depth looks like intelligence, insight, intuition, and it is. People with this trait often have extraordinary analytical ability, moral clarity, creativity, and foresight. They perceive patterns others miss. They connect emotional dots others don't even notice exist. But this gift comes with a hidden price: mental saturation. When the world demands speed, immediacy, and shallow responsiveness, the deep processor feels permanently out of sync. While others react, they reflect. While others move on, they stay with the experience. This mismatch creates friction, and over time, friction becomes alienation. Small talk feels unbearable because it lacks substance. Social rituals feel mechanical because they ignore meaning. Conversations feel draining because they rarely reach the level of depth the mind is already operating on. So the individual retreats, not because they think they are better, but because they feel unseen. Depth of processing also turns inward. The same mind that analyzes the world also analyzes itself. Mistakes are revisited, choices are questioned, words are replayed. And when combined with emotional sensitivity, this can spiral into rumination, a mental loop that traps the individual in constant self-evaluation. This is where loneliness deepens. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of feeling too complex for the pace of the world, too slow for speed, too deep for surfaces, too intense for systems built on distraction. Yet this same trait has shaped thinkers, artists, philosophers, healers, and visionaries throughout history. The problem is not depth. The problem is living in a world that treats depth as inefficiency. And as if this weren't enough, there is another force that amplifies every thought, every emotion, every interaction even further, a force that dissolves boundaries between self and others entirely. There is a point where empathy stops being a virtue and becomes a burden. Not because compassion is wrong, but because without boundaries, it consumes the one who carries it. For many people who feel disconnected from the world, this is the invisible force shaping their isolation: extreme, unregulated empathy. These individuals don't just understand how others feel, they absorb it. Emotional states cross into them without permission. Tension enters their body, sadness settles in their chest, anxiety activates their nervous system, and most of the time, they don't even know where it came from. A crowded room, a work meeting, a family gathering, all become emotional minefields. Neuroscience helps explain this. Studies show that highly sensitive individuals display heightened activity in brain regions associated with emotional awareness and resonance. In simple terms, their brains are wired to mirror others more intensely. This creates a kind of emotional permeability. They are always open, always receiving, always feeling. The cost is exhaustion, emotional fatigue that accumulates slowly and invisibly. These individuals often carry emotions that are not theirs, suffer for pains they did not experience, and wake up drained without knowing why. Over time, the body learns to associate social contact with emotional overload. Avoidance becomes a form of self-defense. This leads to a cruel paradox. The more empathy someone has, the more they withdraw. Not because they don't care, but because caring hurts too much. They want connection, but connection feels like exposure. They want intimacy, but intimacy means absorbing another's emotional chaos. Extreme empathy also sharpens perception. These individuals can sense emotional falseness instantly: forced smiles, strategic kindness, performative vulnerability. Nothing goes unnoticed. And because of this, superficial relationships become intolerable. Not boring, painful. It feels like emotional dishonesty. Yet this trait is also what makes these individuals profoundly compassionate, trustworthy, and emotionally safe for others. They are the ones people confide in, the ones who listen without judgment, the ones who feel deeply. The tragedy is that few ever offer them the same depth in return. And slowly, another pattern forms. A refusal to participate in anything that feels false, a rejection of shallow bonds, a craving for something rare and dangerous in modern society: authenticity. At the core of all these traits lies a truth rarely spoken out loud. People who feel disconnected from the world are not detached from connection. They are starving for it. Not casual connection, not proximity, not noise, but something far more demanding and far more rare: deep, emotionally honest connection. These individuals do not seek relationships to fill time. They seek resonance, presence, truth. For them, being with someone is meaningless if essence is absent. Conversation without depth feels like emptiness. Togetherness without authenticity feels like betrayal of the self. And this creates the final and most painful paradox. The stronger the need for genuine connection, the more isolated they often become. They try, they open up, they offer sincerity, but they quickly discover that most relationships operate on performance, convenience, and emotional shortcuts. Vulnerability is often met with discomfort. Depth is met with avoidance. Honesty is met with silence. And each disappointment leaves a scar. Over time, the psyche adapts. Emotional isolation becomes voluntary, not because loneliness is preferred, but because false connection hurts more than solitude. Books, art, nature, silence. These become safer companions. They offer depth without demand, meaning without negotiation. But even inside this refuge, the longing remains. This is not failure. It is not social inadequacy. It is the consequence of a nervous system, a mind and a heart that operate beyond the surface. A structure built for intensity, living in a culture addicted to distraction. There is a quiet recognition among people like this. When they meet, they know. There is no need for explanation, no performance required. just presence. These connections are rare, but they exist. And when they happen, they heal something that years of isolation could not. If you see yourself in this video, understand this. Your sensitivity is not a defect. Your depth is not a weakness. Your longing for truth is not unrealistic. You are not broken, you are rare. And perhaps the world feels unbearable at times, not because you feel too much, but because it has forgotten how to feel at all. You are not alone in this experience. Others exist, quietly navigating the same intensity, asking the same questions, carrying the same invisible weight. And recognizing this is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of integration. Because the moment you stop seeing yourself as wrong, the world stops feeling entirely hostile. And in that shift, something powerful begins. Your awareness was never the problem. It was always the key. If this video helped you understand yourself even a little more, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments what topic you want me to explore next. Also, check the video and playlist showing on the card. They continue this journey deeper than you imagine.